Okay, let us continue to read the book, The Foundation of Buddhism, written by Rupert Gethin, who is still in the professor in University of Bristol in England. And then we come to the chapter on the path. That is chapter 7. So now under the subtitle on Stealing the Mind, on page 176, third paragraph. Okay, why don't we just read through it first, the technique of calm meditation. Yeah.
Okay. The techniques of calm meditation involve counteracting the tendency of the mind to restlessly seek out new and different objects of the senses. This is accomplished by developing a basic capacity of the mind to rest undisturbed on an object of perception. This capacity, termed concentration, is in fact understood as a prerequisite of all thought. But in normal consciousness, it functions only minimally. When this capacity is developed in meditation practice, however, it brings the mind to a condition of stillness in which it finds complete contentment with just one object of contemplation. In this condition, the mind enters into quite different states of consciousness from its habitual ordinary states. These states of consciousness may themselves be termed samadhi, or alternatively, they are known as the dhyanas, Pali jhana, a term which means something like deep thought or meditation. In Buddhist technical terms, the mind has temporarily escaped from the sphere of the senses, its normal preoccupation with thoughts that are in some way bound up by the object of the five senses, to the subtle sphere of pure form, the refined world of pure abstract forms. The experience of this refined world of pure form comprises 4 increasingly subtle dhyanas corresponding to the 16th Brahma realm of the Buddhist cosmos.
All right, thank you. Let me see. Okay, why don't we just continue first, I guess. Next, yeah.
To begin to still the mind by the practice of calm meditation.
Page 177.
Then a suitable object of contemplation. Drawing on the earlier Nikayas, Agamas, later manuals such as Upatisas,
Vimuttimagga.
Vimuttimagga, Path of Freedom, and Buddhaghosa's Visuddhimagga give standardized list of 38 and 40 objects of meditation, respectively. Vasabhantu's Abhidharma's Abhidharma's kosha focuses on a more limited number of meditation objects. Upatissa and Buddhaghosa initially discussed the subjects of meditation from 2 points of view. First, there's suitability for the practice of the preliminary or advanced stages of calm meditation, and second, there's suitability for different personality types. See table 4.
Okay, thank you. Let me see. Okay, I guess that's something to do with the table. Why don't we just back to this page 176, and we just begin with this reading the subject on the stealing the mind, or you could say the samadhi or concentration. Okay. I think I guess I don't know how do you find, but I think that the way he put it really nice. That the technique of calm meditation involves counteracting the tendency of the mind to restlessly seek out new and different objects of the senses. Okay. And this is accomplished by developing a basic capacity of mind to rest undisturbed on an object of perception. Okay. I guess this is very important because otherwise, if you don't have the right way of understanding what the concentration is, people start to think about, for example, nowadays, especially if you really go to this meditation center, some really most of the time, not all the time, and then they really discourage people practice concentration. So, because the way that they understand, everyone, why they discourage practice concentration, because everyone have a different pictures on what concentration is. Okay, now that's the reason why you need to learn. I always encourage people, you need to really, not necessarily that you can make your own choice, but making your own choice and by understanding truly what the Buddha means is two different things, right? You can make a choice. No, I don't want to practice that. I don't want to learn that. That's all right, but that does not, rule out that you don't learn what really, from a Buddhist perspective, what it means. I guess actually very important. The Buddha never actually condemned the concentration, never condemned the jhana. But I have a lot of proof. But you could choose not to learn that. That's all right. But the Buddha never condemned that. Also, that we might have a lot of discussion later. For example, like in Zen meditation, and although I cannot say for sure, but I think that they might have a strong tendency during that time that actually they also discourage people learning so-called jhana because they don't think that is important. The important is the wisdom part. And that's also one reason why the Zen also arise. So in other words, I don't mean when I say Zen are complete. If you look at the history, I don't mean that even in Zen Buddhism always 100% discouraged, but I'm just saying that there was a kind of revolutionary time that they really, the same thing as actually in Theravada tradition also. And then there was certain school, or I won't say school, like certain masters, and they also discourage learning the concentration. And later on, a certain master also trying to really like disagree with that, and then certainly encouraging, saying that in the text always mention those things. Now, this is certainly a big subject. I mean, you definitely will encounter this problem in the future, or whether now or in the future. If you're really interested in Buddhism and meditation, definitely there's a lot of debate on that issue. But now we are not here to discuss that. Since we are learning Buddhism, so we just must understand what actually the Buddhism and what the text, trying to understand, tell us what is meant by the concentration. Then the master have a different opinions for their different reasons, okay? But that's one thing, but certainly you can learn from that too, but then you need to really know what original the text trying to tell you, okay? Anyway, this is, I guess, first must understand the concentration basically means, so you develop a basic capacity of the mind to rest undisturbed on an object or perception, okay? So, and that is certainly is agreeable for, I guess if you ask any really masters or anyone that really know Buddhism well, nobody will try to against this statement of what the concentration means, okay? And then, of course, this kind of capacity, we have a name in Buddhism. We call it as samadhi, okay? In Chinese, of course, called sammei or sammodi. So that's certainly, I mean, from the word Chinese sammei and samadhi, then you can, sammodi, it's a literal it's the, how to say, it's the it's not, it's just the, how to call, intonation? What to call, just, they didn't translate the word, it just mean, it's a pronunciation for the word samadhi. Sammei in Chinese and sammam. Sammodi, it's just, it's just the, what do you call it, the pronunciation on it.
The phonetic rendering.
Phonetic rendering. Yeah, it's just a phonetic rendering. Yeah. So, well, then now, what is this capacity? Is developed in the meditation practice. It brings the mind to a condition of stillness in which it finds complete contentment with just one object of the contemplation. That is, you could say that's one capacity, okay, of the samadhi. So, and also actually, given this kind of condition, the mind enter into quite different states of consciousness from its habitual ordinary state. In other words, that given if the conditions are given, you might reach to a different state of consciousness. Okay, and this kind of state of consciousness, we also term that as a samadhi. Okay, Or alternatively, sometimes we call that as a jhana and dhyana. Dhyana in Sanskrit, jhana in Pali. But both, I mean, like especially if you're in India, you talk to people about dhyana, almost everybody heard about this term. Okay, it's a very common term for them. Okay, and of course, please do understand sometimes the way that they define the dhyana is could be completely different from Buddhism also. Okay, I don't think contextual-wise are different, but the way at least they think they are different because the way how they interpret it, the contextual, no, how to say, in terms of capacity or context-wise, I guess it's the same, but how to say, contextual-wise, do you think it's different? Anyway, maybe. All right, now, however, sometimes this term is also in English. Maybe you could say the deep thought or meditation. That's the reason why sometimes when I read the book, especially translation, I really find a lot of dubious about when they use the word meditation, which word they are using. Because, the meditation as a noun, sometimes you could translate as a dhyana or jhana. Samadhi also understand as a meditation. So, but please, if you really be more precise, what we are doing usually when you write it in English, you put a bracket. You could have the different translation, but you always put a bracket to indicate that what you're referring to as samadhi, you're referring to jhana, or you're referring to something else, right? Or even you could say meditation as you could refer me as like practice, bhavana, right? So the word, anyway, we must understand in English, sometimes also that term, like a jhana also, that even translate as meditation, okay? But we must understand in the Buddhist technical term, the mind has temporarily escaped from the sphere of the senses. Kama vajana is normal preoccupation with thought that are in some way bound up with the object of five senses. Anyway, to the sphere of the pure form, rupa vajana. Okay, so and the last thing is the experience of the refined world of pure form comprised 4 increasingly subtle dhyana corresponding to the 16 Brahma realms of Buddhist cosmos. And we are going to say that later in chapter 5, okay? Any comments about, maybe let me just finish the other things first. The other thing is about, this kind of actually the practice of the calm meditation, or sometimes you could say the still meditation, or the still the mind meditation or anything, depend how to translate. Or I like to translate just simply say concentration. That you could join from earlier, Nikayas and Agamas. I hope you don't have question what's Nikayas. Generally mean the Buddhist text that have been kept nowadays. You have the Buddhist text in Pali language, we call it as a Nikayas, okay? The early Buddhist text. Or you could say the early Buddhist sutra or suttas. And Agama usually, I actually do not think the Agama, firstly, but mostly we understand Agama mean that you found in Chinese, but maybe some part in Tibetan too, but Tibetan do not have the full set of Agama, but they do have that too. Some, they still kept in Tibetan, but mostly in Chinese that that been translated. Actually, in early time they've been translated already, but as the most important Agama like the Madhya Agama and Didika Agama, they started maybe translated from 5th century. But I have to say that in earlier time they do have Agama too, but then they've been destroyed, so we don't have that anymore. So the extent one we have now is from the 5th century, from different so-called the Sravakayana school. Okay. And generally, we understand the Nikayas and Agama as mean the earlier Buddhist text, because I guess for research, why, whatever, definitely they are the earliest recension of the collection of the Buddha's words. Okay, and then the later menus, you could say commentary or menus, and then such as like Upadisas Vimutti Magga, in Chinese 解脱道论, and the Buddha Gosas. As a Visuddhimagga, 就清净道论. So they have standardized the list, like from 38 to 40 objects of meditation, or you could say Kammatthana, the word. Kamma actually mean, Kamma mean action. Thana mean the place of action, you could understand. Yeah. then you could find it. And even in other work which is not belong, which is also quite a very important manual, especially if you are learning the Northern Buddhism. When I say Northern Buddhism, I mean North Buddhism. Basically, if you understand the Buddhism, how the Pali Buddhism come, because it's believed that anyway, it's more clean to the east part, a little southeast part, not the central eastern part. But then even you say the northern, like above of this, what is called the Ganga River, okay, up to like Pakistan and this, and even Kashmir. This is what we call the North Buddhism. And the North Buddhism side, of course, one of the very important manual for almost everyone. If you study Buddhism well, you definitely, not that you read it, but you definitely know it. Just like the same thing we mentioned about Vimuttimagga and then the Visuddhimagga. Then in the North Buddhism, you have Abhidhammakosa, written by the Vasubandhu, 四亲菩萨就是俱舍论. So focus on the more limited number of meditation objects. Okay, and let me see what they say. That anyway, Upadisa and Buddhaghosa initially discussed the subject of meditation from 2 points of view. First, the suitability for the practice primarily of advanced stage of calm meditation. That means, what this kind of technique is suitable for whom. That we're going to list that in the table later. And then the other, the sustainability, the suitability for different personality types. No, just let me see. Their suitability for the practice of the primary advanced stage of calm meditation. I see. Basically, that's about the stage, and the second one is about the different personality types. And we're going to read the table. Before we're going to read the table, anything you need a comment and what? No? Understand? You know why I want to say this? Because I understand usually people study Buddhism. This is why you need to learn something systematically. So you have and the book is very important. Otherwise, you just based on what people's opinion. But this is more like original from the Buddhist text and even the manual and how they describe what it is about. Okay. Okay. If no question, we can look at the table first. The table on the next page, the table 4. So I guess I look at the table. Then from the table you have the subject, mean the meditation subject, and then you have the personality, and then you have the level, right? You could see that, right? Then the subject, for example, like the 10 kasina. So we don't translate the word kasina, what are they? Because there's no such a translation, I guess. So that's why we still nowadays still retain the word. If you say that, oh, I'm practicing kasina, then you must know. You may ask which kasina, but then that's it just become a common term. We don't have a translation for that. So, and then you have the earth kasina, water kasina, fire kasina, air kasina, blue kasina, yellow kasina, red kasina, white kasina, light kasina, limited space kasina. Now, when you notice they have, at least this the list actually, according to the Buddhaghosa, there's 40 types of it. If it according to Vimuttimagga, there are 38 types of it. Okay, but as I just mentioned that. But if you look at the Agama or Nikaya, but they are definitely much more than that. Okay, if you really look at it again. But these just become a manual. It's become kind of like a system. According to a different school, they want to buy up the system. They might be just teach people according to many for these 40 types of meditation subjects, or you could say. So for example, one of the kasina, for example, the light kasina. Now, if you understand actually light as in one of the kasina, then you might solve a little problem. Why sometimes when people do meditation, they always look at the light. I say, don't look at the light. And also, even if you look at the light, you must learn how to look at the light to also meditate. Because actually the light is just as one of the kasina. The same as like people when they meditate, I'm sure people, some people here, they've been enjoying the meditation of like the force of light abode. And sometimes they see like different color in front, But it's nothing wrong. It's nothing say that, oh, you saw that you meditate and you see those color appear. We didn't say it wrong, but because since you are not learning this kasina, so we ask you not to pay attention on that. You should actually back to your meditation. Let's say if you're doing a loving kindness meditation, then you should back to your loving kindness meditation. Okay. Now remember there are 10 of kasina. Actually 4 are almost like the 4 elements, and then 4 are the colors, and the, 1 you could say is 5 you could say is a color, but we don't say it as a color. Light is just like a brightness, right? The number 9, and the limited space is basically you meditate on. This is maybe also quite a little famous, even though people don't know they're doing a kasina meditation. Like, you know, they sit there, they think space, vast space like that, right? Almost like everything is like empty. Unfortunately, and there's a misconception also a lot. Even this is not only in Chinese, but particularly in Tibetan Buddhism. Always tell people you meditate on the space, not meditate on emptiness. Okay, they are 2 different things. And unfortunately, nowadays, if you look at the lots of description or whatever, they have the meditation on the space. They think that's mean by emptiness. Okay, when they say emptiness, mean the sunyata in the very advanced kind of insight meditation of that you have experience of emptiness. Okay. All right, now there are 10 of the kasina, and then even though this is not fixed, but But if you look at all tradition, they almost bear the similarity. Maybe 1 or 2 might have a little difference understanding of that. For example, so I look that all these the kasina are suitable for the earth element, water and fire, air kasina. They are suitable for all type of people. But if you are a person that carry a lot of hatred with you, then the color is advisable for you to practice. That's why they put as suitable for the personality, mean for the person have this what they call anger issue, or maybe a hot temper person, for example. And the other one, the light and luminous space, are suitable for this personality, all personality. And please understand, these 10 kind of kasina, actually even by practicing these 10 kind of kasina, you can reach to the level of from the 1st jhana to the 4th jhana, because not all the meditation object could do that. Okay, but these 10 kind you still could do that too. Okay, right. The second, now we have 10, and then we have another 10, but these other 10 actually they goes together usually. But you could just practice one subject matter too. That is called the 10 ugliness. In Chinese, usually called 不净观. And these 10 uglinesses, you need to visualize, but there are 2 ways of practice. One, you visualize that kind of, when a person dies, the corpse will have this, the corpse will be decaying in such a way, Or you could actually go to see the real one. Okay, so still it divided in 2 types. One is that you really have to go to see how, and then you need to. One is other you just purely imagination. Imagine how the corpse been decaying, and other one you need to observe it. The real corpse. But anyway, certainly this the corpse become bloated, livid, festering, cut up, by eating by lots of animals, scattered around, and hack and scatter, not just scatter, but it's really really scatter, and then you could see the bleeding and warm, infested, and ultimately become skeleton. Okay, but this is but this kind of 10, you could take that as 10 stages of your practice of ugliness. But sometimes we also say there are 8 stages or 9 stages. Sometimes, for example, like in the just now we mentioned about the other text called what is that? Abhidhamma Kosa, right? Written by the Vasubandhu. That I think, if I'm not mistaken, so it takes about 6 stages, But anyway, here they mention about 10 stages, but you could just pick up 1 stage to practice also. But that actually will help you to. It's suitable for suitable for the personality who had lost. Okay. So and then this kind of the meditation, concentration meditation, that will help you to reach up to only the 1st jhana, not up to the 4. But I mean, with the same object, only to help you to reach the first jhana. Okay, with the same object of meditation, or you could here to say subject. You could say, and the other one is for belief. There are 6 types of personality. One other person is called intelligent, and the intelligent personality could meditate of the repulsive of the food, you know, and then or determine the 4 elements. There are 2 of them. Okay. So, but these 2 kind of repulsive of the food, and also they determine the 4 elements. So it's only help you to reach only the access concentration. Okay, not even to the first jhana. And then we come to the subject meditation subject called the 10 recollection. Now, among the 10 recollection, for those people who have very strong faith, so it's much easier for people to do the recollection of the Buddha, recollection of the Dharma, recollection of the Sangha, recollection of good conduct, mean the Sila, okay? You mean the Sila, the virtue. Recollection of the generosity, mean Dana, okay? And then recollection of the gods, okay? So there are 6 types of the recollections. Usually in tradition, or if according to Agama Nikaya, this 6 collection has been advised to practice when the householder are very busy and they just during the full moon day or new moon day, especially full moon day, of course, and then they will go to the temple and they will dress the white color clothes and they observe the 5 precepts, and the whole day they were trying to do this recollection, the 6 types of recollections. So, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the Sila, the Dana, and then the heavens, or you could say the gods here. Okay, and then now beside this 6 recollection, but you must understand this is even though generally ascribed for the faith person, but this kind of recollection also you cannot use this 6 kind of recollection to enter the jhana, but you would not reach the jhana, but only just for you to reach access concentration. If for those who don't understand, you can ask later. Okay, and there are other 4 kind of recollection. Is it 4? Yeah, it should be. And then the mindfulness of death is one. Mindfulness of the body is another one. And the mindfulness of breathing, that which is very popular, is another one. And then the recollection of the peace actually means sanda, means the calm down, the peace. Okay. And then, according to this, the menu, so the intelligent people could meditate on the mindfulness of death and the mindfulness, on peace. Okay. If the people have the lust, then they need to meditate on the mindfulness of the body. If the people who have this discursive thought, either because of delusion, and then they could meditate on the mindfulness of breathing. So, but if you look at those conditions given that if you meditate, by giving a condition that you could meditate on the mindfulness of body, you could use the mindfulness of body to reach the first jhana. However, but the mindfulness of breath can help you to reach to the 1st to 4th jhana. And then the meditation on the peace only to access concentration. You know, the peace is also very common nowadays. You heard about people say they learn a meditation from apps, whatever. They will teach you just to sit there and just to feel like calm down, calm down, calm down. That's just something like that, similar to that. Okay, that's mean by that. But this kind of meditation would not help you to reach to jhana, but you will have this, what we call the access concentration. Okay, and among that, that's what I always encourage. The other one is called the 4 immeasurable, or sometimes you could say 4 sublime abode, 就是数量啊。And then you have the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. But they are each of them can be meditated as one of the meditate object, but they also been grouped as one of the system. Okay, that is called the 4 immeasurable, and they are usually been advised. It's been said that it's suitable for the person who have hatred problem or anger problem or unhappy kind of mood. Always. And the first 3 types of these immeasurable mind, the loving kindness as a meditation object as loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, only help you to reach to 1 to 3rd jhana. You cannot reach the 4th jhana by practicing these 3. If you want to reach to the 4th jhana, you have to practice equanimity so that you could reach to the 4th jhana. Okay. Now, altogether, how many are they? 10, 10, 20, and then 30, right? And then 34, and then agree 2 things for intelligent people: repulsive food and determinant of environment, 36. Now the rest of the 4, but it's still included here as the meditating object. But I have to say, depending on how you understand, yes, it's a meditating object, but certainly this must have, in order to have the formless meditation, the next 4 you must actually able to reach the 4th jhana. So, but I don't know why he want to put the level of 4th jhana anyway. Maybe that's a little strange. I'm not sure. I forgot to ask that.
He did explain later. That,
I didn't even. I see.
He said that there's an alternative explanation that the formless meditation are just variances of the 4th jhana. Therefore, it's contained within this category.
Yeah, in Abhidhamma, I think it's categorized as the same in certain parts.
I don't recall that. It could be. I have to check that. Yeah, but it's all right. Anyway, we. But and here, I guess I need to check. It's not because I guess I'm sure that the Buddha Goswami might have explained that also if they put it that way. I need to look at it, the line. I did notice that. Actually, this is the first time I noticed they put a 4th jhana. Because I learned this in another way. But anyway, okay, fine. So I will just go back and check what the Visuddhimagga or the part the Buddha Goswami said anyway. Then the formless meditation, there are 4: boundless space, boundless consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor no perception. While certainly they are the more advanced, higher meditation state than the 4th jhana. Okay, and they are technically usually we say that they belong to arupa jhana, meaning the jhana of the formless, 就是无色界的禅定啊。It's not arupa jhana. Okay. Now, okay. Yeah, I guess the next one I don't think we need to read because I explained already. So I just want to see. All right, why don't we just read the next one and then we can why don't we just, the next one on page 179 on 2nd paragraph, it is sometimes suggested in the scholarly study.
It is sometimes suggested in scholarly studies that meditation is traditionally the preserve of a minority and the elite group of Buddhist monastics. Obviously, the question of which Buddhists meditate depends on how one defines meditation. As I suggested above, it is not entirely clear which Buddhist technical term the English word meditation corresponds to, but it is clear that much of ordinary, everyday Buddhist devotional practice takes the form of some kind of recollection of the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, and also the other recollections of good conducts, generosity, and the gods. For Upatissa and Buddhaghosa, such recollection practice constitutes the preliminary stage of calm meditation. There is then a real sense in which nearly all Buddhists, lay or monastic, can be considered meditators, even if the term bhavana is taken to imply the systematic cultivation of a particular meditation subject. The line between Buddhist devotions and formal systematic meditation is not sharp. Devotions arouse faith and compose the mind. To this extent, they form a preliminary stage of calm meditation. settling the mind in a state close to dhyana, technically termed excess concentration. To fully develop calm, however, one must cultivate a further subject of meditation.
All right, thank you. Now we are actually, the next paragraph is talk about the dhyana, so, and the hindrances. So any comments, any question or any comment?
How do we define like by ourselves which is most appropriate, or how do we develop by the labels and stages to use like this chart?
You mean what? Can you elaborate your question a little bit? Like
Just say like depends on personality and types, and just saying because I went to the camp for the meditation camp, learning 4 immeasurables before. I think I couldn't enter that kind of, the stage of meditation. So I'm thinking that I might need to try other things, but.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's a good question. But of course, now this is for example, this kind of like a 10 kind of meditation subject, 40 type of meditation subjects. So if you really look at the whole volume, you may be almost equal to reading a Bible, almost like a Bible, just to talk about the 40 type of meditation subjects, how they are, how you could save, what kind of state you could reach, and so forth, and lots of things, and their alternative way and so forth. If you really want to collect it and put it together, it could almost like it could be bigger than that, but I just say in general, it could almost like you're reading the whole Bible. Now you can understand why study Buddhism in a way is very interesting, at the same time it's a little maybe challenging. But I think that if you do not think about challenging, but you think that actually the Buddha really, or your Buddhist tradition giving you really detailed, resource, basically, then if you look at that part. Okay, now when you practice the 4 immeasurable minds, some people find that maybe it's a little harder for them. And traditionally, actually, we never just teach one technique. Like you've just come to do meditation. If for lay persons it might be different. Let's say I don't have time. I just want to go to do something good for me. Then 4 immeasurable meditation will be really useful, right? As I say, as a manual, in the manual, why it's useful? Because if you practice 4 immeasurable mind, even though you might not able to really reach very good stage, might be due to that person to person, and but it's one of the either in any tradition of Buddhism, this is very important to build up your merits. 就是瞻仰功德 in Chinese. Actually, in your Buddhist text, this is more important than you do any other thing. So the Buddha said again, but people do not understand that. And a person, when they have these 4 immeasurable minds, certainly it's one of the most important quality for one who can be, even for the karma, for reason. Just say one very simple reason. So the Buddha said, in his past, during the time he was born, of course, before he was enlightenment or become a Buddha, there was no Buddhism. He was reborn again and again. But what he did is that at the time, definitely there still, there might be in a certain period of time, they have encouragement of like this kind of love, and so forth. But he just devoted 6 years on practicing this 4 immeasurable meditation. Of course, he could use that to reach like a 4 jhana. And after when he reached the 4 jhana, he could be converse with the heavens, and he could really see the heavens and so forth. And this is how then later he had such a powerful marriage. He be born in the heavens, and he become the king there. So, and that's very famous. You can find in the early Buddhist sutra. Either you might be thinking, that might be in the Pali, not true, even in Chinese also. So in other words, if you understand, I usually joke in a way, if you really want to be a leader one day, not only here, you don't need to be a leader in America, but anyway, you know what I mean by that? It's you need to build up your marriage, because according naturally to Buddhism, believe that if someone who wants to become Buddha, he must somehow in one life or whatever life, he must be a leader before. He must build up this kind of understand, be a leader is suffering. Right? Everybody admire them. Of course, they have power, but they also suffer a different way, right? At least they suffer. Why do people don't listen to me? I mean, so that's how he would give up, the attachment of, Anyway, but that's, to be a leader, you need to do this marriage, in Buddhist understanding. So that's the marriage all come from this form, immeasurable mind. Now, okay, that's one thing. And as I mentioned, usually it's believed that the much easier to meditate for people is because most of the people have a lot of discursive mind. And they might maybe belong to more like a delusion kind of type. Here I mentioned already, what kind of technique is very suitable for them. The meditation on mindfulness or breath is suitable for what kind of person is the discursive mind person. The mind is always wondering, have agitations, and also I belong to delusion type of person. So that's why the breath meditation usually is much easier to learn to begin with also, Okay. But that's a reason also why in our US Zen here, you see every Saturday, one day we are teaching that. Even though we don't have time to teach further steps, but at least we kind of like teach people at least reach to the state of access concentration. But I do sometimes talk about how you enter the jhana, but some people, they don't come all the time, so they miss the class. That's their 福报. That's their merit. I do mention that sometimes because of, but if usually people have their own question, they reach there, we will also teach them the jhana also, like that, okay. But please understand, actually the loving cut, to me the form in immeasurable meditation is really important because even though at beginning you maybe find it's very difficult for you to practice, but ultimately you need that to really go through your meditation. Sometimes you might have a little difficulty at first because, we have anger issue, we are not happy. When your mind is able to settle down, become really happy, anytime meditation becomes much easier. I'm sure if you do meditation, you know. Maybe now at first you find that technique is difficult, I know. And I have to say that because it took me a long time to recognize how important the immeasurable meditation. Imagine, I learned this text for a long time. And I learned the technique when I just become a monk, maybe just a week or 2 weeks. Just become a monk. Of course, I start with the breath meditation too. And even my teacher who brought me to become a monk, he actually thinks this is really important, And a lot of things why it's important also. It's very important for you to learn how to visualize things too. And it's very important for you how you learn how to expand your vision. Because this is really a natural way. If you learn other way to begin, sometimes you'll find it very difficult to expand your vision. This is really, so a lot of technique you learn it there within already. And but it took me a really long time. I don't want to speak it too long, just give me say one word. It's like, and I also, most important, and I found in our Buddhist community, if we don't have this full immeasurable mind, we are miserable. Even how good your meditation are, you have lots of conflict, jealousy, hating each other. I don't like you, you don't, this all community problem. So it's because they don't practice full immeasurable. If you practice that, you at least you will learn, not that you would not have the problem, but you know that you have problem. You would not try, a lot of problem, people, they meditate quite okay, but they hide the other problem. So if you are in the circle long enough, you'll know that. So that's another reason which I think the four immeasurable, why the Buddha would say is a marriage. Imagine, you need to be patient, you need to understand people on their shoe, on their shoe, on their shoe, in their shoe, I forgot. So you need to,
in people's shoes?
Yeah, you have to understand in their position and so forth. And also, I always say one other word is very important that because you meditate that then you find you are not very different from them and they are not very different from you. But the only difference if you have is because either you have removed the problem or either because you know the problem is there. But the problem when the people are so proud, they think they don't have the problem, then that is really create lots of problem. Yes.
So I thought there were 8 levels of jhanas. Are there only 4?
Yeah, actually that's why I say the next 4 is a full formless meditation.
Okay.
The 8 level is the next 4, is that the 4 formless
But
meditation.
you're still in the 4th jhana.
Yeah, this is, we just say that also. I don't know why Rupert put here, but he said actually Rupert in the book he did discuss. I will read that and we'll see, and I will go back and check again. Yeah, yes. And
Just when you mentioned the visualization to visualize those objects, I think my difficulty was like I cannot have the images in front of me, you see, like
yeah, so
like hard to visual.
but I did mention already, you don't have to have the image. Some people have the image. You still learn how to. Well, some people they have. You still no, even whether the person have the image appear or not appear, they still have to learn what next to do. You know, yeah. Because I believe that even though you don't have image, you still can reach the access concentration.
Okay.
But there's another form of teaching is that to teach a full immeasurable mind meditation, you must have the image to reach access concentration. But no, my understanding both way would do. Either you have image, either you don't have image, you still can reach access concentration. Okay. In other words, when you reach access concentration, you still can reach the 1st jhana, 2nd jhana, and so forth. Like here, mention the 1st to 3rd jhana. By either you have image appear or not appear. Okay. Okay.
When you said the image appear, not appear, are you referring to the nimitta?
Yeah, the word is nimitta, but the different meditation objects have different nimitta.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you meditate on the breath, then your nimitta may be the milky white color dish, for example, right? But if you meditation on the loving kindness, that the image will be the person's face, that you're the person that you visualize. Yeah. But I just said that, but either you have that nimitta or without that nimitta. No, I won't say nimitta word, because either you have that sign or what we call, you could call it as, I think later we are going to talk about that. Do we? What? Maybe not. Yeah, we do, yeah. Either whether you have this kind of sign, but when the nimitta have different type of nimitta, when we say the count, what I want mean that either you have the form appear or not appear, but the side of like what we call the counterpart nimitta will appear too. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Any other comment about comment? No.
Excuse me, can I ask what a casino means?
No, don't just, as I say, that we can only left untranslated that, because normally understand kasina mean a very single object. You don't need to further elaborate it. For example, if you say meditation on the breath can be long breath, short breath, you know, or like, what do you call, there are many kind of actions going on. Or you could say, when you meditate on the loving kindness, that it could be a nice person or not nice person you're visualizing. But those are, the object could be really a kind of big variety of objects, but within the same sphere, right? But when you say kasina, usually earth is earth. Let's say you meditate on the earth, mean you just take the soil, a kind of soil, but they have a kind of, you must pick up the right soil, and water, and then you just water, simply water. And then the fire, simply fire, air. And then color, simply just red color, yellow color, white color. That's why usually kasinas, I mean, I don't know how to define, but generally mean something like very simple, just a simple unit, like a light and like a space, you know. Yeah, that's a 10 kasina. But that's why we don't translate that term, because there's no way to translate that term. We just put kasina. But that's why if you say that you are meditate as a concentration subject, you could say I meditate on the earth kasina, or water kasina, or the blue kasina, or the space kasina, something like that. Okay, we still use the same term. We always left untranslated because because if you translate the site, you could be misunderstood as mean the nimitta also. Anyway, that's a translation problem. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah. Any other? No.
Sorry, I'm late. I don't know if you discussed this, but like, what does it mean by like meditating on the earth? Do you just think about?
That's why I say you have to pick up the earth, but they have the soil. That's earth, right? And then you pick up the soil. Even though I don't think it's necessarily be that way, but at least in the manual would say that you need to make it like the soil, make it like a disc, and then you need to visualize that kind of soil, the disc-like soil. The soil being made in the form of disc.
So there's no actual soil.
It's a soil. It's a soil, but you need to pick up that's why there's description. You don't pick up the soil like mix a lot of different things like glass or whatever. It has to be pure soil, and it's mostly like the earthly color. That means brown, like a brown color, and then you just make it a disc, and you visualize that. Yeah.
And the water too?
Water you don't have to make a disc. Like a river, the sea, and all the other water. The fire you don't need to make a disc. It's just fire. Yeah.
Yellow is just yellow. Like
Yeah.
The color is just, you just think about, you want to
The color, yeah. So that's why in some tradition, what they do, in old day, because it's bigger, it's much easier. Too big is not good because it's easier for you to, like, let's say you see the wall is all white color, then it's too big. Then the contrast is not clear, right? So if you have a contrast, usually you have a white disc, and then that's much easier because maybe your background is very simple color, like maybe it's that's just a plain wood, but then you have a white disc, then you certainly focus on the white color. That's meant by the white kasina.
With your eyes open?
Yeah.
Looking at that?
That's the reason why if you're learning kasina, you have your eye open, but then you need to visualize the object. Then you close your eyes.
So same with limited spaces, like you look at this room and then
The space, usually you don't look at the room. It's very hard because you might have a sense of the space, but according to technique, the best is that you feel the space. So when I say the feel, I mean because space is no color, right? That's why you have to look at the hole. That you feel there's a void. The hole. For example, like if there's a hole in old day, you have like a window. You have the hole, right? And you could see the sun ray comes down from there. And this is how you know that's a space. But I guess I mean that's how the text say. But then as far you could just meditate on the space, but not with any color. Because
nothing about particular rooms or anything. What does that mean?
I cannot tell you all in detail. This is, of course, that's why I say that in the whole thing, if you want to put it together, it's almost like as big as a Bible, right? But I just want to say is that for sure, if you meditate, the space you say you see color, we know you're wrong. Yeah, I mean wrong mean your meditation. You are not meditating on that. You need to be very clear what you are meditating on. You know, yeah.
But sometimes if you do it gradually or sometimes when it's just like space, maybe the mind is not ready for space. But maybe, like, I like the part when you read or explained about expansion. That is helpful. That was very helpful. You said something about expansion.
Yeah, but the expansion usually is when the kasina is formed, then you need to learn how to expand that. But it doesn't have to do with the space, because if the space, definitely they shouldn't have any color. I just want to mention this again. But I think that, my understanding, usually people when they start to learn this technique, they have a problem to expand. That's why I say the easier to solve that problem is if they practice a full immeasurable mind, they can easily just know how to expand.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and the same thing for the space too. Yeah. Another thing is also because, you know, when you do immeasurable mind, one of the big things that you need to solve is to make your mind, even a little anxiety should not be there. So, but when you are, even though your focus is so good, but then you still have the, when I say anxiety, I mean you still have the desire. Why don't I do that? But the for immeasurable mind would train your mind become relaxed already. So you always feel with the joy, so you don't feel like you need had to be what?
It makes your mind malleable.
Yeah,
Also.
the malleable, flexible, something like that. Yeah, okay. That's the reason why I know that some of my students who learn that, they will surprise a lot of people. Surprise why they can learn so quick, because they start with the full immeasurable mind, then they learn everything really simple. Yeah, because they don't struggle with the mind. They know they're not happy. Then they just adjust it. A lot of people, they don't know. Actually, they are not satisfied with what they are doing. That gives them a lot of trouble already. All right. Okay, now at least we have a picture. We don't have to know the detail, but this is why you need a good book to have a guidance. Okay, this technique. Actually, this technique is not just because from the menu, but you from the sutta also. Okay. So, but the menu have collect them, and maybe you could say elaborate them or discuss them according to their tradition, how they practice. Okay. All right. Now let's, why don't we just, actually we have 2 minutes. Any discussion? Then we have a little break first. Yeah. No? Any comments? Okay, well, it's okay. We can have a little break early, and if you can come back 5 minutes, I don't think you need a long rest, and we get back here. Right? Thank you. I will see you later after break. Yeah.